It was the early hours of June 13th, 1977, at Camp Scott in Mays County, Oklahoma, where three baby girls' bodies was discovered. Laura Lee Farmer, age 8, Michael Heather Goose, age 9, and Doris Denise Milner, age 10. They were found right near the campsite showers, about 150 yards from their tent. Originally, the case was solved when Gene Leroy Hart, a guy who escaped from prison and had a history of violence and rape, was accused. But he was later acquitted in March of 79 after a jury unanimously found him not guilty. About 6 weeks before the murders took place, a counselor at Dorn training discovered her things have been ran through, and she had donuts which were missing. It also contained a letter that said, "We are on a mission to kill 3 girls in Tent 1." But they initially thought it was a prank and threw the letter away. DNA that was tested in 89 was inconclusive, and it did not show further proof that Gene Leroy Hart was the murderer. Although he was Cherokee, and they said that it's possibly that 1 in 7,700 Native Americans can have that same DNA. DNA performed in 2017 suggests Hart's involvement, but the case still remains unsolved. The girls were last seen at 7 p.m. the night before in their tents. They were all from a suburb of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They were in tent number 7, which happened to be the farthest tent from the counselors. One of the girls' bodies was discovered in the morning when a camp counselor was going to go take a shower. She then looked in number 7 and discovered that the girls' bodies were missing. They then went on a search and found the other 2. They all have been bludgeoned and strangled to death. They did find a red flashlight with a fingerprint on it, and they also found a shoe print found with blood in the tent. After that, the camp was evacuated and shut down. Gene Leroy Hart was on the run since 1973. He had kidnapped and raped 2 pregnant women, as well as 4 counts of burglary. He was raised a mile from Camp Scott, and he was also a member of the Cherokee Nation. Although he was never convicted of the rapes and murders of these young girls, he still had 305 years left of a 308-year sentence, so he was never getting out. A couple years after the murders and after his acquittal of the crime, he did die of a heart attack at the age of 35. He was lifting weights and running on the prison exercise yard. The family did try to get a civil lawsuit for Magic Empire for about $5 million, saying that tent number 7 was the farthest from the counselor's tent, which put them more at jeopardy. But it was voted in 1985 that they favored Magic Empire. I'm not sure if any money was given to the 2 families that did sign up for that lawsuit. Richard Goose, the father of Michelle Heather Goose, helped pass Oklahoma's Victims' Bill of Rights, and he also helped found the Oklahoma Crime Victims Compensation Board. Another parent, Sherry Farmer, Laura Lee Farmer's mom, founded the Oklahoma chapter of Parents Murdered Children. It's a support group. As a result, the Supreme Court McGirt versus Oklahoma, which determined the crimes involving Cherokee natives on the Cherokee land in Oklahoma, fell under tribal, and they had to do their own investigation, which I'm not sure if y'all know, basically means it's got swept under the rug. It's not really America's problem. It's pretty sad, but that's the law. In America, tribal land is tribal land. What happens on their land happens on their land. And they ultimately get to decide what is the outcome. But I'm sure they're pretty confident with the suspect who was initially acquitted, but God did some justice because he died right after that at the age of 35. So justice was found, but at the same time, it probably would have gave the parents some better closure to have him being charged for the crime. I am glad that ultimately he passed away. I'm sorry to say that, but tell me what you guys think. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments and if you even heard of this story. Thanks for listening. Bye.